When Jesus started talking about eating his flesh and drinking his blood, people didn't understand that he was speaking spiritually. So we're not eating his physical body, we're partaking of his suffering. Okay, so we reflect, we remember, and we rejoice because no one else could do what he did. So this is so sacred. We're just not going through the motions, okay? So let us bow our heads in prayer. God, thank you for what happened on the cross. We celebrate you. We'll never forget what you've done for us. In Jesus' name. This is my body, which was broken for you, is what he said. And at that time, he said, you may eat. Go ahead. The juice, which is represented on the wine, symbolizes
receive them, Denisha Ray and Corey Fisher. If anyone is present that knows, we'll keep them until they are here. Our announcements for today are as follows. We want to acknowledge Dr. Mitchell for delivering the 8 o'clock message from Matthew 24 and 14 and Romans 1 and 16. From the text, what is the gospel? The focal point was we all fall short, but it is His word that keeps us. It remains good news, and we cannot make it without Him. The gospel is for all, for it is the power of God unto salvation. And just in case any of you are wondering, He still got it like that. During this past Wednesday's midweek service, Pastor T.L. taught from a look at the letters, the church at Smyrna, from Revelation 2, 8 through 11. The messenger's focal point centered on the fact that Smyrna, although a small and poor church, Jesus found it important enough to declare it rich, as it relates to us today, regardless of our tribulations, persecutions, and obstacles we oftentimes face as a church. In the eyes of Jesus, we are blessed because God has not given us the spirit of fear, and our trust and faith in Him is worth it all. We want to remain in prayer for the family of Sister Cordy Ivory during their season of sorrow. She was eulogized this past Thursday at Lincoln Memorial. And we also want to remain prayerful also for Brother and Sister J.T. Allen, who are related to the Ivory family. We also received word this morning that Sister Martha English is hospitalized. She's at Charlton Methodist. Once we have the room number and more information, we will certainly share it with the church. And in the meantime, we want to be in prayer for her. To Pastor T.L., Lady Kim, Dr. J.D., and Sister Mitchell, and the Bonner Church family, thanks, you made our day. No wonder there's such warmth behind the thanks this brings your way. Your thoughtfulness has brought us so much joy. It has really made our day. We thank you once again for everything that was done for us and the way you all supported us during our season of sorrow. This is from the Wright, Sneed, Thomas, Farrell, and Gage families. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, all roads lead to Bonaire for the Unity Choir's musical. And as they lift their voices in praise to the Lord, Sister Drea Randall, along with the Unity Choir, encourages our prayers, attendance, and support. Scratch all that. We're not doing that today. I just found out. Just rewind. That's over. We're not doing that. We will inform you of the new date once we have it. 21st. We got a time? 4 p.m. 4 o'clock, 21st. May 21st, we're doing it at 4 o'clock. Thursday morning, May 11th at 11 o'clock, the Golden Ages Fellowship and invites and encourages those available during midday to please join them. Saturday morning, May 13th, the ushers will meet at 10 o'clock, and Sister Catherine Wilson encourages attendance from the ushers. Sunday morning, May 14th, during both services, as we celebrate and honor mothers and grandmothers, the men of the church are hosting the service, and we want to extend our thanks and appreciation for the effort that will go forth. Saturday morning, May 20th, the great giveaway, Day of Sacrifice, is scheduled from 10 until 2. And as always, as we attempt to bless the less fortunate and just be blessings to others in and around the community, we only want to bring those items that are useful. We don't want to give anyone anything. If we don't want it, it's not going to be useful to anyone else. So we want to be mindful of that. At this time, we would like to extend birthday greetings to the following. Early birthday wishes go out to Mr. Shamar Parson, who celebrates Tuesday, May 9th. Celebrates May 12th, and he shares that honor with Sierra Jackson. At this time, we would like to acknowledge our guests. We're certainly glad that you all chose Bonaire as your place of worship, and we're equally as glad that you chose to celebrate with us on Communion Sunday. If any of you are looking for a church home, we welcome you with open arms and would love to have you become a part of the Bonaire family. Here you are a stranger only but once. Please feel free to come back and fellowship with us again. These have been our announcements for the week. We look forward to seeing everyone at midweek service. Let us govern ourselves accordingly.
To Bonaire, one focus, one family. Will you stand to your feet as we go into the presence of the Lord? We want to set the atmosphere. Amen. Where's my praisers and my worshipers? Do I have any in the building? Better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in in your house. And I don't know about you, but there's no other place I'd rather be than right here in the house of the Lord. Can I get a witness? Will you help me sing this song? The words are on the screen for those of you that want to sing along. Amen. The song says, better is one day in your courts. Hallelujah. Clap those hands like this if you will. Anybody excited to be alive today? Make some noise. Come on. Clap those hands. Hallelujah. Oh, there is no other place I'd rather be than right here in the midst of your people. There is no other place I'd rather be than right here in the house of the Lord. Can you help me say, there is no other place I'd rather be than right here in the midst of your people. There is no other place I'd rather be than right here in the house victory. Come on, victory. Come on in. Victory. Victory. All the men say victory. Victory. If you got the victory, say it. Come on. Victory. Victory. All the ladies say, when they say victory, you say, I got it. I thank God I got it. If you know you got to say, I got it. Say it. You got to convince me. Come on, say it. I got it. Say it. If you know you got it, you got to sing it. I got it. All right, me and Jordan, and then he can say victory. I got it. Come on, victory. Come on, victory. I want to hear you a little bit louder. If you know you got it, let me hear you say. Come on, say it. There's nothing my God. There's nothing my God cannot do. We just stop by and encourage you today to let you know there's nothing that God cannot do. Yeah. Oh, nothing my God can do. There's nothing my God cannot do. Clap those hands and give him glory. If you know that you know that you know that you got the victory, come on, lift those hands and open up your mouth and begin to thank him for the things that you have the victory over. You got the victory over everything that the enemy will try to attack you with. If you believe it, come on and bless his name. To bless means to open up your mouth and speak well of him. See, the enemy wants to change your testimony. He wants to change what you say out of your mouth based on how you feel. Because how many know that your thoughts will become your words, and then your words will become your actions? Can I get a witness? But if you know you got the victory, you ought to open up your mouth and declare it and decree it and give him glory for it. Come on, somebody. You are a winner. Look at your neighbor and say, you are a winner. I thank God that I always win. Isn't that a word today? I always win. Even when it looked like I'm losing, I always win. Let's lift our hands and worship the Lord. Hallelujah. There was a song I was going to sing called I Was Made to Worship. You have to understand what worship is. It is your due benevolence. It's what you were created to do. If you're not worshiping, you're not living. If you're not loving, you're not living. Because how many know you have to love the God that you worship? I attended a singles workshop on this week, and they said something that stuck with me and was so powerful. They said love is equivalent to the blood in your body. If you remove the blood out of your body, then you won't live. Because life is in the what? And your emotions and your thoughts are equivalent to your arteries and your veins. So love in the blood has to, you know how the blood flows through the arteries and the veins. How many know that blood, that love has to flow through your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions? I wish somebody could get where I'm going here. And he talked about how single means whole. When you think about, where are my single people at in here? And I don't know why I'm being led. Where's my single people in here today? Wave at me. Don't be ashamed if you're single. If you're not married, you're single. Wave your hand if you're single. All right. I didn't say dating. I said single. Are you single? Because even if you're dating, if you're not married, you are what? All right. So now I want to minister real quick, and I'm going to tie it all into worship. So he said the word single means whole. And how many know that in math you have whole numbers and fractions? A fraction is a half. Amen? And sometimes we're not whole, we are fractions because there are things in our lives that are undeveloped. Come on, somebody. And so what in this journey, in this walk of being single or being whole or being one, we have to learn how to walk in it. Because just because there's things in your life that are undeveloped does not mean that you're not going to get to the destination. How many know that God has a plan for your life? And that plan, as you walk through your journey, is to make you whole. Somebody shout whole. So now, let me tie it all in. Follow me now. When you are standing in the presence of the Lord, as I was in prayer and in worship at home, the Lord told me, he spoke real loud and he said, get low. Somebody shout, get low. Sound like a club turned on. I don't take anything lightly. When Pastor asked me to teach on the book of Revelations, it's funny because when I went to the book of Revelations and I saw a mirror of what was going on with John in the Isle of Patmos and how the whole God had taken him up in the spirit realm, and there was worship going on, and there were thrones around the 24 elders. There were thrones around the main throne of Jesus, and even though they were sitting on their thrones and they had crowns, they cast their crowns down. How many know that a crown goes on your head? How many know you're going to cast down every thought and imagination that exalted its thoughts are high above the knowledge of God? How many know that? So you got to change your mindset while you're in worship. Not only did they throw their crowns down, but they fell down. That means humble. Somebody shout humble. How many know you got to humble yourself in the presence of the Lord? Look at your neighbor and say, it's not about you. It's not about your problems. Don't magnify your problems bigger than the God you serve. So lift your hands all over the building, and I want you to release any thought that would hinder you from being in the presence of the Lord. And we're going to let praises rise from the inside. Close your eyes, don't even look at me. My job is to usher you into the presence of the Lord. Come on and close those eyes. Connect your heart with your mouth. The song says, let praises rise from the inside. From the inside of me. It's for you.
Jesus passed by and saw a man born blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, Master, who said, this man or his parents, he was born blind? And Jesus said, neither this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. But if I was the blind man, Lord, do I have to be blind for you to be glorified? Do I have to be sick for you to be glorified? Is there anybody who say, if it takes me being broke for you to be glorified. Anybody willing to put themselves in a Job-like situation for God to get the glory? He can get glory willingly or unwillingly. But he's going to get the glory. He's not going to share his glory. And see, sometimes he'll allow us to go through some stuff just for his glory. But when you say, all I want is for you to be glorified, you say, God, if I have to go through some pain, as long as you get the glory, I don't think you know what you're saying. How does God get glory in your sickness? How does God get glory out of your turmoil, out of your disaster, out of your dilemma? He gets glory when people see you come to church with cancer. He gets glory when they see you going on in spite of your situation. When your family, when your friends, when your enemies see you take a licking but keep on ticking. When your tithes is your rent money. But you say, I'm going on in the name of the Lord. Even on the deathbed, God is able. Even in showing him with our finances how much we love and appreciate him by continuing on his ministry. Not my ministry, not your ministry, God's ministry. Amen. Announcements and all of you, thank you so very, very much. I want you to see my wife, Lady Kim, stand up so these visitors may see you. I need a brownie point. She didn't let me go without it, so I had to give me a brownie point right there. Thank you. Amen. I want to give Dr. Mitchell a hand clap of praise. He preached early service. I'm let him say something. He preached so hard this morning, he still got it. How many know he still got it?
Let me thank this young giant of a preacher, pastor, for the effort, what a great effort he's putting forth. His heart is in ministry, his heart. He doesn't know anything else. And let me thank all of the preachers. I tell you, Brother has been blessed with the host of preachers for many, many years. And the deacons. Thank God for all of you. Our motto here for many years is God blesses efforts and
Yes, and for the early service, I introduced these men. I may have introduced them before, but these are our candidates for the deacon role. Can I have those candidates stand up? Brother Malachi Bray, Brother Brown, he's already a deacon. He's going to be a deacon here in front of him. Brother Tony Wilson, Brother Steve Brewer. I think we're Brother Tanner Flowers right here, and then we got an eldest last deacon we're working on, Brother Kendra. Yes, Brother Ray, get ready, Ray. Amen. We're looking at y'all. God bless you. Let me show you. Thank you, brothers. If y'all know anything about them that we need to know, let me know now. If you say, ain't no way that man needs to be a deacon, let us know. We don't want to make him a deacon and then y'all come out with all the dirt. We need to look at it and put it through the sift and say, he good with that. How many of you know that we all flawed but forgiven? I want to show you my first son in the ministry. Don't stand on that, Dr. Watson. Amen. I'm proud to give it to him. He's going to be preaching, but I told him we normally let preachers know when they can preach, but not him. He's just going to throw him up. And so he did a great job for Sunday school this morning. Brother, my nephew Derek, Brother Richard Steve, thank you. God bless all of you. Brother Anthony Crouch right here. Definitely a great man of God. So I want to talk for a few minutes. I won't be long. My goal was to get you out at 12 o'clock every Sunday. That's my goal. Since it's 11:55, we're going to try to shoot for 12:30, okay? Or better. It was no later than 12:30. I'm going to tell you that now. My goal was to get out at 12, but God did his thing through our worship service. I was going to just go right ahead into the Word, but I'm discovering giving is a part of worship, so that's our form of worship as well. Here's a quick word that's worth repeating, found in Mark 2. It's on the screen if you don't have it. Mark, the Gospel according to St. Mark chapter 2. It's your choice to stand for the reading of the Word if you like. For the sake of time, I'm only going to do a few verses and then let you take your seat. All right, I'm gonna just read about verse 5, and then we'll let you sit down and I'll read the rest. Okay, it'll be on the screen. I'll see what her page is turning, so I'll give you a chance to turn. And as you're turning, let me say, giving all glory, honor to God, who's the head of my life, to the deacons, deaconess, to our guests. God bless you. If you're visiting with us for the first time, just wave your hand. We want to give you a visitor's guest card. There was noise that he was in the house. And straightway many gathered together, insomuch that there was no room to receive them. No, not so much as about the door. And he preached the word unto them, and they came unto him, bringing one sick of palsy, which was born of 4, which means carrying of 4. And when they could not come nigh unto him for the press, they uncovered the roof where he was. And when they had broken it up, they let down the bed wherein the sick of palsy lay. When Jesus saw their faith, those 4 guys, his friends, he said unto the sick of palsy, Son, thy sins be forgiven thee. Come on. Number 6, but there were certain of the scribes sitting there and reasoning in their hearts, why does this man thus speak blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God only? And immediately when Jesus perceived in his spirit, this Bible is kind of torn. Was for some reason with themselves. He said unto them, why reason ye these things in your hearts? Verse 9. Whether it is easier to say to the sick of palsy, thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, arise and take up thy bed and walk. Watch this, verse 10. But that ye may know that the Son of Man had power on earth to forgive sins, he said to the sick of palsy, I say unto thee, arise and take up thy bed and go thy way into thine house. Verse 12, and immediately he arose, took up the bed, and went forth before them all, insomuch that they were all amazed and glorified God, saying, we never saw it on this fashion. Amen. And the word of God is blessed. You may take your seats. I would like to share again briefly for those who are here today. Jesus lifted me up after my friends let me down. Amen. That's what I want to talk about today. Jesus lifted me up after my friends let me down. God, we need you. Have your way. Speak to me and through me. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. O Lord, for you are my strength and my redeemer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 Jesus lifted me up after my friends let me down. This is a very familiar story, a very familiar passage of scripture where we see Jesus preaches. The Bible said he preached the word. Not only did he preach, he proclaimed. He proclaimed the fact that he could forgive this man's sins. And then these people had a little issue with that, thinking, who is he to say he can forgive sins? They didn't understand that he was God manifested in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, believed on in the world, and received up in glory. Not only did he preach, not only did he proclaim, he proved to them. Wow, I just gave you 3 points and that came with my message. He preached, he proclaimed, and he proved to them who he was and the fact that he had power to forgive sins. He said, I say unto thee, arise, take up thy bed and walk. As we see in this text, the Bible says he entered into Capernaum, a city on the northwest shore of Galilee. Capernaum was like the headquarters for his ministry. It was in Capernaum where Jesus departed and came and dwelt. Matthew 4:12 said, now when Jesus had heard that John was cast into prison, he departed into Galilee, leaving Nazareth. He came and dwelt. That's where the headquarters come out, so to speak, in Capernaum. It was in Capernaum where Jesus told Peter, get the coin out the fish mouth, if y'all worried about who pays taxes. It was in Capernaum where Jesus met the man who said, Father, if you just speak the word, my son shall live. It was in Capernaum where Jesus did most of his work as well, where it was Capernaum where the lady came, it was dark, and there arose a great wind by the sea, and he walked on the sea. And he said, be not afraid, it is I. That was by the Sea of Galilee. So this is where the headquarters was in Capernaum. This is where this church was in Capernaum. And the noise was spread because Jesus was in the house. How many are glad when Jesus is in the house? Jesus ought to be in your house. Jesus ought to be in this house. Jesus ought to be in your body, which is the house of God. Look at somebody and ask him, is Jesus in the house? Is Jesus in the house? You ought to be in the house. I don't want to be at a place where Jesus is not there. There's no other place that I'd rather be than right here in your presence. Better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in your house. Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. But we see, because Jesus was so popular, he was in the house. The Bible says there was no room in the house. Here's the funny part. There was no room in this house. There was no room Capernaum. There was no room where he came in Bethlehem, and now there's no room for him in your schedule. When will we make room for Jesus? Look at somebody and say, when we gonna make room for Jesus? Come on, there was no room in the inn, there was no room in that house, and now we need to see there was no room. So look what happened. 4 friends got together and decided to do something. But Jesus says, the Bible said he came and he preached the word and he taught them. He preached the word. He preached the word. That ought to show you that your Bible is something great. He was preaching out of not only this Old Testament, because he was the New Testament. You do understand. Jesus was the New Testament, but he preached out of the Hebrew writings and out of the old Hebrew canon. We know that this Bible is our canon. That's why you got to come on Bible study. We're talking about the canonization of scriptures. Now we're looking at the letters of the Pauline letters, the letters that Paul wrote. Not only that, now we're looking at the letters Jesus said write to the 7 churches. You missed the letter to Ephesus, you missed the letter to Smyrna, but now we got another one on Wednesday night. Come check and look at the letters. But here we see Jesus preaching them the word. The word of God is quick, powerful, mighty, sharper than any two-edged sword. The grass wither, the flower fade thereof, but his word shall stand forever. David said, I will hide your word in my heart that I may not sin against God. Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that, come on, proceeded out of the mouth of God. So not only did he get there and he preached the word, he taught them, and he taught them from the word. Let me get back to the text. And he came unto them, and they brought, and straightway men were gathered, insomuch that there was no room there was to receive them, no, not so much about the door. And he preached the word unto them. Verse 3, and they come unto him, bringing one sick, and I'm rushing, one sick of palsy, which was carried or born of 4. Somebody say 4. 4 equals stability. We did a slide presentation in our leadership class of a 3-legged chair. A 3-legged chair, you can sit on it, but it ain't really balanced. You need that 4th leg to kind of balance this chair out. You ever seen a 3-leg table? It can be done, but 4 legs are more stronger. You see 4 common men with a common goal. Common men with a common goal. What we come into the house for? We ought to have a common goal. Look at somebody and say, what you come here for? Grandma would say, I don't know what you come to do, but I came to praise his name. I came to lift up the name of Jesus. See, they came with a common goal. You ought to come here with a goal in mind, not only just to hear a word, not only to give God praise, you got to have another goal. Your goal may ought to be to see a loved one, to pass out a hug, to be in ministry. That's what we're talking about with these letters to the churches, because the church have a mandate. Jesus cared about churches so much that he allowed Paul to write, Timothy to write. All these people wrote to the church in the New Testament, and Jesus said, not only after all the letters they had already received, he said, write these letters to these 7 churches in Asia, because the church has a mandate. The church has a message. The church has a ministry. The church has a mission. And it's more than a program at 3 o'clock. Oh, it got quiet in here. The church mission is more than a program. The ministry is more than feeding the homeless. The message is more than just going outside the wall. We ought to tell the dying world that Jesus died. Jesus rose. Jesus lives. He reigns. He rules. And he shall return. I don't believe he's coming back. He's coming back. We ought to be telling everybody, get your house in order. Soon and very soon, we're going to see the King. It was a common man with a common goal. Their name wasn't even mentioned. Amen. It just said 4 guys took their friend to see Jesus. And I'm running out of time. Listen, so what happened? Let me make a long story short. It was so packed in the house, it was more crowded than Coach's Corner. It was more people than in a Cliff Club. I mean, it was packed. Everybody was just sitting like this. Not only it was packed, it was hot. They had them fans with the funeral home, the Golden Gate on it. They were just fans. No, they didn't have no fans. But you know it was hot if it friend down where Jesus was. Woo! And the Bible said when Jesus saw their faith, that's what I want to talk about. Jesus lifted me up when my friends let me down. This is not a letdown of disappointment. This is a letdown of divine appointment. I hope you write that. I hope you write this down. It's not a letdown of disappointment, but a letdown of divine appointment. Yeah, we know friends are have the proclivity to let you down. Anybody ever been let down before by a friend? Yeah. You needed a ride to work, but they came a little late and y'all both got rolled up. Yeah. You went to lunch and somebody ran out of gas and now y'all had to call and tell your boss we gonna be late and you both get in trouble. This is not a letdown of disappointment. This is a letdown of divine appointment. They got together and say, hey, my buddy is sick. I want to go out our way. Let's help my homeboy. You as a Christian, it ought not just be about you. You ought to find at least 2 or 3 people and say, let's bless sister so-and-so. You ought to get together and say, hey, you know what? My homeboy lost his job. Let's get together and bless my brother. When the last time you came to church with a common goal designed to bless somebody? You ought to get with 2 or 3 people and say, hey, let's do something for the pastor. Let's do something for the worship leader. Let's do something for somebody. It's all be more than about you. See, the sign of spiritual maturity is when you can celebrate your neighbor's blessing. When Jesus saw the full faith, my God, he did something for the one they brought to him. He didn't see the faith of the man with the palsy. He saw the faith in the friends. So that goes to show your faith matters, even when it's concerning somebody else. Wow. It's easy to get somebody you know that's sick and call them and say, yeah, just trust God. You don't even care what happened to them. Yeah, you in there busy. Yeah, I'm praying for you. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you cooking the eggs and everything. Okay. Yeah, I know. What you say? Yeah, I'm praying. I'm believing God for you. Yeah, just read the Bible. You ain't like, yeah, exactly. Bye. You don't even care. But how many want somebody to really pray when you say, hey, pray for me? I need something. Yeah. I need some people. I need some friends that don't pray when it's time to pray. I need some friends in my corner that's don't fast when it's time to fast. I don't need nobody smiling in my face. All they want to do is take my place. Somebody call them. Yeah. This wasn't a letdown of disappointment, but a letdown of divine appointment. Jesus knew the friends were coming before they came. Jesus knew 4 of them was going to pick him up and give him a ride to church. He said, I'm going to be here when they get here. When they let him down, I'm going to heal him. But before I heal him, I'm going to deal with something that's greater than his physical body. He said, I'm going to deal with the sin. I'm going somewhere. Here we go. Not only this is not a letdown of disappointment, but a letdown of divine appointment. Number 2, it's not a letdown of failure, but a letdown of faith. This is not a letdown of failure. You know, when I said when my friends let me down, everybody like, yeah, got happy and all that. Because we know friends will let you down. But now, how many friends you got will let you down like this? Will let you down in faith. Not failure, but in faith. This is not a letdown in an attempt that went bad. No, this was an attempt that went good. And I'm going to carry on because you're getting sleepy, you're getting hungry. You smell Popeyes, Church's, Williams, and Hall's chicken. Somebody got Rudy's on the brain. Let me get you out of here. It's not a letdown of failure, but a letdown of faith. When they said we're getting together and we're going to do this for our friend, they climbed up the wall, tore the roof off, and they didn't drop him off. They let him down. They took their time with him. See, real friends take their time out for you. It's not, I'm not talking about my house, I'm just talking about women in general. They want some time. Ladies, don't you want time? If the man say he loves you, ain't never got no time for you. Am I right? Yeah. All they want is quality time. You know what I mean? So they want quality time. You know, you sit there watching the game with them, eat popcorn, and you tell them to move back because the Golden State about to win. That ain't your quality time, or is it? You know, I wish I had more time. Here we go. It's not a letdown of failure, but a letdown of faith. They took their time. They were peculiar how they let them down, and when they let them down where Jesus was. And Jesus healed them. We all know the story. But Jesus saw their faith and said, your sins are forgiven. They're like, did Jesus know this man was sick? And he talking about forgiving sins. And by the way, who is he that he can forgive sins? Do you think he's God or something? Do you think he's God or something? How many believe that Jesus was God, that is flesh in the flesh? What about Jehovah's Witnesses that don't? Let me holler at you for a few minutes. He was human, but he was divine. In the same time, at the same time, he's God enough. It was divinity wrapped in humanity. Jesus, it was Jesus. I wish I had more time. But this not a let down of faith, but a let down of faith. Not only this, watch this. Let me get down to verse 12. 11. I say unto thee, arise. You know what? When I was studying this, it came out a lot better than I'm playing it right now. And I say unto thee, arise, take up thy bed, and go thy way into thy house. And immediately he arose, took up his bed, went forth before them all, insomuch that they were all amazed and glorified God, and said, we never see it on this wise, or in this fashion, or on this fashion. So they said, wow, not only did he heal his disease, he healed him and made him whole. This lady was talking about being whole today. You know, when Jesus healed the woman with the issue of blood, he said, go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole. Has made thee whole. Thy faith has made thee whole. He said, what's easier for me to say? Your sins are forgiven, or rise up, take up thy bed and walk? What's easier? He said, I could tell him any